You don't have to choose between feeling how you feel right now and being happy. You can actually have both. So if you've ever been told to stay positive, look on the bright side, think happy thoughts, if you've ever been with a life coach or a psychologist or a friend or a partner or anybody that insinuates things will get better soon, stay positive. You just need to think a different way. You can't say negative things. You've just always got to say what you want. You've always got to think about the present or the future, but in a really good way. That is spiritually bypassing. And that is not your way to genuine happiness. Spiritual bypassing is when you spiritually bypass how you actually feel the truth with a spiritual concept. And that is how you induce anxiety in the body, because anything that's not truth in the body is going to make you anxious. Whether you're with somebody in front of you that is saying one thing, but you're feeling another, if you override how you feel that this person is emotionally dangerous for you, what's going to happen? You're going to feel anxious, right? Because the body is saying to you, hey, this isn't right. If you say no when actually it's a yes, also that's not going to feel right. So if you've ever been told to stay positive when you are struggling in your life with a particular situation, and I want you to know that real happiness isn't the kind that denies the truth, that denies the feelings that you have in your body right now. You can actually have both. You can be grieving and you can feel happy. I'm not saying all at the same time, all at the, all of the time, but we can hold two truths. And there's a lot of popular psychology and there's a lot of well-meaning people in the self-help industry that explain to you that the route to happiness is to stay positive, to think happy thoughts, to think about just what you want. Well, that's only going to last for as long as you're thinking it. And then your feelings are going to come up and you're going to try and push them down because you've been taught that is not the route to your liberation. You've been taught that's not the route to your happiness. I'm going to show you the way that I get to have happiness as my usual baseline. And it's not what you think at all. So if we haven't met yet, hello, my name is Marina J, and I help us to break patterns, to break the patterns that have been created from narcissistic abuse or from a difficult childhood so that we really, really flourish. And this particular pattern, I feel we may not have had it as children, but we absolutely learned it later on in life from the self-help movement, the well-meaning self-help movement that said, don't do it this way, do it that way. But what happens? Like if you're having a really difficult day today and I say to you, it's okay, it's going to be okay, don't worry about it. Just think positive, or I get into the solution too quickly for you and I try and fix you and I try and tell you what to do. What happens to your insides? Where does all that stuff go? Does all that positive stuff really alchemize the negative stuff? No, it doesn't. What it does is it suppresses it down in you. And if you do that enough times during your days, this suppression will lead to depression. Because what is depression? In my world, depression is when you've suppressed your genuine feelings of hopelessness, disillusionment, depression, pain, anxiety, fear, feelings of feeling just completely unworthy, feeling and being rejected, being attacked, being abused, right? Whatever the feelings are in you, the more you suppress them, the more your baseline will move from happiness all the way down to depression. And have you noticed that the people that are teaching you this, or they're insinuating that with a click of your fingers, you can just get rid of how you feel? Have you noticed that they're not really happy? They're what I call fake happy. They're the ones that sound happy, they look happy, but when you look at them, there's like an internal war going on in them. There's a lot of anxiety there. And that anxiety is because they are gaslighting themselves out of the truth, which is, hey, we feel really sad right now. Hey, we feel really uncomfortable right now. But instead of being honest, we're going to suppress it with happy thoughts. Because in our minds, if we keep doing that for long enough, it will work. Well, has it ever worked for you? It's never fucking worked for me, ever. Ever. I can't hold my feelings in, right? I can maybe hold my feeling in for a day if I've had too much to do and I've had loads to do and I haven't had time to process, but I need to feel. And so I had a beautiful client come into my world just recently, and she said something to me along the lines of, I was thinking the other day, she said, what if Marina is just a positive person and that this level of happy is, I'm never going to reach it. It's unattainable, right? What happens if that's the truth? And I said to her, I work hard at being happy, right? This doesn't happen because I've had an easy life. This doesn't happen because I'm just somehow Pollyanna and I'm up in the clouds and I don't have to deal with everything else that everybody else, like you, we're all dealing with the same stuff, right? All of us. All of us. Okay? We're all dealing with the stuff that's going on in the outside world. No one is escaping that. Even if you think people are rich, even if you think people are living in an easier country than you, no one's escaping it. Okay? Nobody. Okay? We're all going through variations on a theme. And I've had tough times where I've spoken to, for example, a therapist, and they've said, this sounds like a film. Oh my God, this is huge. And I've had very extreme levels of abuse happen to me throughout my life, as I'm sure you have as well. So how I maintain my buoyancy isn't through positive thinking ever. I just don't do it. I don't partake, right? It's like I don't smoke and I don't do spiritual bypassing either. And I don't do toxic positivity because, again, if you look at the people that are teaching it, they're often feeling desperate inside and you can see it in them. I know that if I were to do that, I'd feel really desperate inside. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And that's not what I'm all about. That's not what I do. That's not what I teach my brilliant clients. So many of us learned how not to not even deal with, but how not to be with our emotions, how to ignore them. How many of you have ever felt like you just need to keep busy, especially if you're dealing with grief or pain? I'll just keep busy and that's how I deal with it. Well, what happens at night? It's all just going to come up. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel awful. But what if you're feeling whatever you're feeling right now, and you might be feeling amazing, right? But what if these difficult feelings that you don't like feeling and you don't like being, what if they were actually guiding you to deep joy if you didn't suppress them and if you were brave enough to feel them and be them and follow them? Because this feeling, whatever the feeling is, so let's connect to the feeling that you have right now. Right? Say it's something else than joy. Let's say you feel anxious in your solar plexus, or let's just say that you just feel really fucking flat. You can keep following that feeling. It will guide you back to self-love. It will guide you back to having so much compassion for your beautiful self that you will actually move up and out of the feeling you're in right now and closer to joy. When you battle your feelings, it stays a battleground in you. It's extremely impossible to feel joy, because your feelings are actually a tool inside of you to get you there. And so people will often ask me, well, how do I do that? I don't even know how to do that, right? I don't like crying. I don't like feeling angry. I don't like being angry. And I don't like being this either. It's just like it turns people off. The thing is, the more you stop fighting how you feel right now in this moment, the more you allow yourself to be honest about how you feel, the quicker you'll move out of it. It's the opposite, right? Because all your body wants is for you to be honest and feel its honesty, because it is guiding you now to your answer. So let's say you want to feel joy. Let's say you want to make more money. Let's say you want to meet the partner of your dreams. Let's say you want to build an even bigger business, or you want to move, or whatever you want. Everything is happening to you for you. Everything right now that you're feeling is guiding you there. If you suppress it with a positive thought, if you suppress it with a cup of coffee, if you suppress it with chocolate or distraction, that feeling can't deposit the wisdom in you that it's wanting to. So your life isn't going to change. You're going to keep doing what you're doing. You're going to keep being in these cycles, these patterns, and you won't make the change. So let's say, for example, that you are dealing with difficult family members and you are trying to stay positive and you are making excuses for them and you're saying, well, they had a difficult childhood, so I'm going to keep going to their house and I'm going to keep helping them, even though I get emotionally damaged every single time. If you just stayed with the emotional damage that you experience from their abuse as you drive away from their house, and you don't suppress that feeling with that positive thought, oh, well, they had a tough childhood, oh, well, I should help them out, and you don't suppress that feeling with a donut, chocolate, coffee, alcohol, drugs, something, you don't distract yourself by seeing friends or whatever, and you just allow yourself to be with that feeling holds the truth to your happiness. It is going to say to you, these people are too dangerous for you. And from that point, because you're going to be honest with yourself, you're going to make the right decision for you, whatever that is. And as you do that, you become happier because your body is like, yes, she's not separate or he's not separate from the body. We get to work as one. So the first stage to reach a happier state of being isn't to do things that make you happy. I mean, it works some of the time, right? It's not going to work all of the time. Is to actually express how you feel right now. Right now. Without undoing it, making excuses, without making yourself wrong. Can you make yourself right and say, I feel really over it today. I feel really down today. I'm really sad today. I feel really out of control today. I feel chaotic today. I feel depressed today. Whatever you're feeling, can you just say that? And can you start to let this feeling out? So you might shout, scream, write it out, say it out loud, dance it out, physically get your anger out, right? At the gym or in a punching bag, right? Maybe you're going to punch a pillow. And if you feel too flat, right, to even get your feelings out, just say it right now. Say it right now to me. I feel shit, Marina. I feel fucking shit. Say it. Your body, I tell you now, your body is going to go, amazing. Thank you. Keep it coming. Because it wants you to not have any no-go areas in your body, right? What happens when you go into a city and there's a no-go area because it's dangerous? What happens to that spot, right? It's desolate. It's not a place anybody really wants to be in. It's not safe to be there. But when we go into these no-go areas, and instead of making the feeling wrong, we go, oh, it's just a feeling. I'm not going to make it to mean anything about me. I'm not going to make it to mean that my life is now going to go to shit. I'm not going to make it, because all emotions are normal. When we start to express, so expressing is the first stage, right, of healing and getting to joy. When we express how we feel, our power will always come rushing back in. Our self-compassion will always come rushing back in. Our self-love will always come rushing back in. Those three things, what is that? Is that closer to joy than holding the depression in? Fuck yes, it is. Fuck yes, it is. And all it is, whatever you feel, whatever you hate to feel, is only because somewhere along the way, someone's taught you to hate how you feel. Someone's taught you that it is bad to feel that way and it is good to feel that way. So when my client said to me, I just feel like I'm never going to get to that level, I said to her, I work hard for this. This is not something I feel just because. If something's happened in my life, or I'm just shitty or grumpy or fucking tired or whatever it is, I don't deny it. I don't suppress it. I express it. And because I express it, the depression doesn't come. I've had times in my life where I have suppressed it for short periods of time, and I have felt depressed that week, 100%. But when I actually let it out, singing, shouting, crying, dancing, writing it out, saying it, however, whatever's the most natural for you, yeah, you might go, oh God, I'm really crying now. Now I feel really, really angry. Keep letting it out, keep letting it out, keep letting it out. Guess what happens? You go into that pit, you'll come out way quicker. You'll come out way quicker. So it's the opposite of fighting it. It's allow yourself to go in so you can come out. And not just go in and come out once a fucking year. God bless you, right? God bless me. I might do that once a day. I might do that several times a day. Is that wrong? Is there something wrong with me? No, I'm a human being. Just when you see a toddler, right? Have you ever seen a toddler completely lose their shit? What happens, right? They go completely nuts. They lose it. Sorry, I've just gone blurry. Let me just, my camera, if I go in and out too much, it goes blurry. Let me just do that and that. There we go. It's the only thing I think that resets it. Think about a toddler, right? When you see a toddler have a total meltdown and they're like, nah, they're screaming, they're shouting, they're throwing themselves onto the floor, all of this stuff, right? What happens? They get up and they're happy and they play. But if you tell that toddler, shh, don't do anything, and you stop them, which is kind of impossible, but if you try and suppress it, they start to get really down and really flat and really in, because they're suppressing the wisest part of them in that moment. The wisest part of you in this moment is what you're feeling. And so many people will say, you know, feelings are the lower body, feelings are the lower vibration. But however anybody sees it, if you're feeling it, then it is a part of you right now. And if we don't know how to get the best out of our emotions, if we don't know how to navigate how we feel on a daily basis, they're going to control us. Not only will you be in a bad mood, you'll hate that you'll be in a bad mood. Not only will you feel angry, you're going to stuff it down deep inside, and then it's going to come out sideways when you're driving and somebody cuts you off and you're going to be like, fucking this and fucking that and all this stuff, right? Because if you notice that if you try and suppress your feelings for long enough, they got to come out somehow, right? They got to come out somehow, because you can't stop the natural exodus of feelings. You can't. And so, you know, a lot of people will say, I meditate and I do, and I think that's nice. But to ascend, all of us needs to ascend, including what some people would call the lower self, right? The emotions, the guilt, the shame, whatever. But we take all of us with us. And as soon as we accept how we feel, maybe even like it, because we're like, damn, this is guiding me somewhere, and I'm going to really get into this, and I'm going to find myself right for feeling this way, then it alchemizes into joy. So for this beautiful client of mine, and she's like, you know, maybe I can't get there. The difference between her and I is that I feel and don't hold in, and she's learned to feel and hold in. That's it. And as she's beginning to open up and just feel and be free with that, she's going to find that it's going to be easier and easier for her to hit the top notes. Because if we don't feel the depths, if we don't feel the bottom notes, we can't get to the top notes. And, you know, I've been on my knees in the shower crying and not able to get out long after the water's gone cold. I have spoken to people who just want to stay positive, and I don't care. I just say it anyway, because I know that that's me honoring me. And I know that every part of me is worthy. The parts that I like and the parts that I don't like. Every part is guiding me to a higher vibration and a higher level of happiness, no matter what it looks like. So what if you stop fighting how you feel today? And you might even say, look, I can't, I'm at work today, Marina, and or I'm this or I'm that. That's okay. But in little time, little bits, or when you get home tonight, can you just say to yourself, I feel whatever it is, I feel sad, and I'm right to feel this way. Can you give yourself the time that you need to express it? And then can you let it guide you to the self-love action that it's guiding you to, because you've been brave enough to follow that feeling all the way through, right? And what is that self-love action going to lead you to do? Maybe not to do the job anymore. Maybe not to see that person anymore. Maybe to say yes to an opportunity, right? Because maybe you've been feeling fearful about an opportunity, but because you've let yourself feel the fear and you are, okay, now I feel it. And this is the thing, it goes away once you feel it, right? Then you're like, okay, I'm going to take it. I'm actually going to take it. And this will be another video for another time, but when we feel a lot of fear over lots and lots of days and years and what have you, and it can feel like chronic anxiety, a lot of that is due to a lot of unprocessed feelings. We haven't allowed ourselves to actually feel because we've made our feelings wrong. So the next time you feel something, can you say to yourself, I feel this and I'm right to feel this way? Can you express it and let it out? And what self-love action is it guiding you to do for beautiful you? And if you don't know what it is in the moment, just kind of hug yourself anyway. Start there. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. If you feel very tearful, if you feel angry, cry, shocked, whatever the feeling is, follow the feeling. I'm going blurry again. Oh, there you go. Just keep following the feeling, keep letting them out. And what I found with new clients that come in, I say to them, if you let your feelings out every day, there'll come a point where you don't need to let everything out all the time because you've let out the past. And now you're just dealing what's happening in the moment. Now you're just dealing with what's happened this month. It's a very different energy in you. You've emptied out of all the cry, you know, all the tears that you couldn't cry when you were younger because it wasn't safe for you to cry. You've let it out, right? And so now you're just dealing with the here and now. You're just dealing with this month, which is a much lighter energy. You deserve, oh my goddess, you deserve your own love. You deserve to really give yourself the release that you want so that you don't carry it anymore. Because if you're carrying emotion, it's heavy. You're going to feel heavy. And hey, some of this emotion might not even be yours, right? Let yourself let it out in whatever way it wants to come out and just trust the process. So I invite you to come and find deep healing with me in my world if you want. I have some free training down below. And this is going to be the first stage in really alchemizing how you feel. It's shadow work. I've done shadow work now for 21 years. I call it shadow alchemy because when you know how to do it, it's not like work. And this particular healing is all about you actually knowing that you're lovable without having to do anything more than you're doing. So it's really owning. We're really kind of rising up and owning and becoming these people that we were born to be without all these patterns. So if you like this content, I'm going to invite you also to like and subscribe, and so I can make more content for you, and just blowing you the most beautiful kiss for however you're feeling right now. There's nothing wrong with you. You've just been taught that how you feel is wrong. But what if you trusted how you felt and you used it to create a self-love action for yourself that doesn't hurt you, doesn't hurt anybody else, right? Because if it's right for you and it's loving for you, it's not going to hurt anybody else, not in the conventional way. And you really follow your own truth. Loads of love. Bye for now.